Hello and welcome to my amazing cultivation simulator channel. In this video, I wanted to showcase a tool that I have been working on for the last month. Currently, I'm on my Drake speedrun gameplay in which I'm trying to show you guys how to kill the dragon really fast, and that's mostly centered around getting Primordial Spirit super quickly. So you just rush golden cores and you get really bad golden core scores just so that you can use those guys to become Primordial Spirits and then unlock all the laws. And then once you have all the laws, you can then learn all the manuals and use that to make the next generation of Cultivator stronger. But that whole thing is mostly centered around building a really solid cultivator. So I actually went ahead and I created this tool that I've been working on for the past 30 days, which is why I have been uploading as consistently as I used to, because I just been working on this not all the time, but I've also been tired and things like that. So I'm just going to show you guys what I have for this tool and kind of try to show you guys how to use it because it's not super intuitive. So for this tool, I created a database with all of the manuals that are useful for a cultivator, specifically for combat, and then it also includes some of the utility manuals. And I also have a priority, and then I did like a description of them, and I did some other things. So firstly, let's just talk about priority. If you go into this tool, I'm going to share the sheet with you guys later. All the way on the right, you probably wouldn't have to interact with this because I already filled in most of the information, and I've double checked this, triple checked this, quadruple checked this, so I am 100% confident in the manuals that I have added to this. But if you want, you can add a manual in here. For that, you would just prioritize it based on whatever you care about. Obviously, once you download the tool, you can do whatever you want with it. And then you enter the manual name, and then anything that has like double bolded borders is where you would put input. So then this obviously has the stats of the manual, and then you will put the element, which would be none, fire, wood, metal, earth, or water, as long as you just have one of those elements in there. And then you would put the attainment cost, the cultivation level, and then a little description on what you care about. Then besides that, I also have this section right here called value. So I just kind of try to record exactly what stat you're getting. So like right here, the value is 450 for this one because it gets 450 lifespan, and that's the stat that I mostly care about with this manual. So then I also have this right here, which is value per cost. So this is going to take the value and then it's going to divide the value by the amount of attainment that the skill costs. So right here, this is actually using a formula. I don't know why this is in double bolded, so I probably should actually turn that off. I don't know why I'm saying double bolded. I mean double bordered. It's a double bolded border. So let's first turn this off. Let's see, where's that at? I cannot find the most simple stuff sometimes. Okay, so then I would have to pick a certain configuration of borders, because if I remove all of the borders, then I would lose borders on this side and this side. So I could even, let's see. All right, I'll just do it like that though. So I'm gonna do double borders and then the same color, red. But firstly, let's clear all borders over here, just so that you guys know that this is something that is used with the formula. And then for these, I'm going to reapply the borders that I have selected. I think that's exactly what it is. Let me sit up a little bit and look. It's a little bit different. It's been a while since I actually changed the borders, so oh, I see what's wrong. So I actually want to use this one, I believe. So let's apply that. Yep. And then I want to do the same thing for this law section since that has user input. All right, back to showing you guys this sheet. Anyways, as I explained, this is calculating the value per cost. So for example, the main things that I like to look at for here is like, you can see like spell power. So this manual right here gives 2,500 spell power, and then based on the fact that it costs 12 attainment, this cultivator will be getting 208 spell power per attainment, and it's all based on like the cultivator's element too. So as you change the cultivator's element, which is what you would do over here, where you can actually select the cultivator's element, the value per cost would change. So you could see that, but you wouldn't really go all the way over here unless you wanted to add another manual. So I'm just explaining to you guys the process that I use to add manuals to this big list. So I have this list, and then over here, this is the slot. So this is just based on the loaded save slot that's selected, and I did create like a save slot system, and I'll explain that in a few. So right here, if you go right more, this is just data that I'm using to like pull information in. This is for like calculating skill, the cost of like raising skill levels. And then this right here is recording down like the save slots. So you wouldn't mess with anything over here, but the main thing if you're just consuming this and you're not trying to add to it is that you would go over here. Alright, so I already have some builds saved into the different save slots. So you can select different save slots right here, and then you can also save a build to a save slot by doing this right here, by selecting which save slot you want to do. So this says select target save slot, so you can do that too, and I'll explain that later on in more depth. And then besides that, as I showed you guys right here, you can select the cultivator's element, so fire, earth, metal, and then you can select filters. So this right here is the same as this table. However, I've given the user the option to query the different columns and filter by different values, whereas this right here is very static. This is just the database, and this is querying the full database. So if I pull up this formula, I can kind of show you guys what it looks like. So yeah, this formula is kind of insane. It's looking through everything, and then it's also looking through these check boxes to determine which columns it will use. So if I turn all these columns off, as you can see, like if you're more interested in just seeing like certain information, then you can just have it like that. But I do have these few columns that are always there at all times. And I did originally make this for my Nimbus disciple, and I do have a Nimbus version, but I just wanted to showcase you guys like the regular Xiandao version, just to keep it more simple. So we have the yen cost and the yen cost there as well. So then with this, you can use this to filter out the columns, so you can see like the cultivation levels of everything, value per cost, which laws require, and then you can select the cultivator's element, and you can also select the different laws that you would use for the cultivator, or sorry, the different laws that you have unlocked already, so they wouldn't show up on this list of manuals. And basically this tool is just to be able to use to select the proper manuals that you would use for a cultivator that's specifically built for combat, that's going to be really strong. So let me just go through this priority list so I can kind of help you guys make sense of this. So -1 is utility. So these are manuals that you just completely do not need, but these are just things that you will have. And then if you highlight the priority description column, you can get some more information about that, but I'll just go over this. So like, for example, Trivision, this increases mental state. I mean, meditation, this is a utility manual, but it is a priority 1 manual as well. So I think that's the only thing that you have to get, but the rest of these are just like, you just get them on like a need basis. So if you just figure out that you actually need the manual, then you would go and take it. So let's see. If I filter by this, I'm trying to wonder why Karmic Fires is -1. Oh, that's because it provides temperature tolerance, so I guess I just put it there. But this one gets spell power, so I mean, it's not perfect right now, but this is just like a rough idea how the priority works. And then -0 priority is pre-GC match cheat manuals. I usually don't have these checked because I'll typically start to go into the planning with this sheet after my cultivators of Primordial Spirit, because that's when I have all of the room to add and think about adding manuals. Because if the cultivator is not Primordial Spirit, there's kind of no point in really using this sheet because you don't have access to all of the manuals that you could learn. So I usually just leave this part alone, but if you do want to like start planning from when the cultivator is cheat shaper all the way up to a Primordial Spirit, and to kind of like figure out exactly how much attainment that they would be using, you could do that as well. Or just to like declutter your mind and like kind of figure this thing out. So then besides that, I also have artifact power big as a priority 1. So you obviously need a pre-golden core match chi, because that's going to determine the cultivator's max chi when they become a golden core, and then that's going to increase their base chi and give them a bigger like natural chi pool. So that's super important. Artifact power big. These are manuals that give just a lot of artifact power. So these are just like ones that give like 900% artifact power, 400%, like just a great amount. And these are typically the Primordial Spirit level manuals. And then next is artifact chi recovery. This is the stat that's really important for cultivators in combat to recover their artifacts so that they can get back to full health and have one-stop protection. Then we have match chi big. So these are the few match chi manuals that actually give like a really big bonus. So that would be priority 3. So something like empathy chant, mind blast, like there's not a lot here. So if I was on a budget build and I just wanted my cultivator just to have like good match chi, but I didn't want to spend too much on match chi, then I would really just get these manuals, because look at the bonuses that they give. They give 1,000%, 4,000%, even 500% looks low compared to all of these other ones. So that's why I have that as priority 3. And then 4 is artifact power. So that's just like a regular amount of artifact power. 5 is cultivator chi recovery. That's also pretty important because that helps the cultivator offset the chi cost of the artifact, because artifacts cost chi for the cultivator to use. And then spell power is number 6, because spell power is really good, but I would put that as something that's secondary, because that's something that you will learn like if you have extra inspiration, just because it's really only useful for healing spells, because unless you're making a cultivator that's mostly meant to deal damage by using like battle spells, which probably won't even be super strong unless you're doing like primordial symbols or maybe even a pure yin Nimbus disciple. But yeah, so I'm really just increasing spell power so that I increase the heal spells, which are like Vitality Chant and Reverse of Psycha, and then Heavenly Panacea, because those are really good at also offsetting the cost of the artifact, and they allow your cultivator to heal a lot. So then 7, I have less important spells, so I will put like Heavenly Panacea there because the heal isn't that big. Then 8 is Match Chi, so these are just all the other Match Chi manuals. And then 9 is stat bonuses. These are low priority because you will really only get these if your cultivator had like lower stats and they needed more stats to increase their law match. So I just had that priority 9. Then priority 10 is barrier power, just because you can get barrier power from, well, you would mostly get your barrier power from equipping the Dark Armor Talisman and the Secret Codex of Tai and leveling up Protect. In terms of like the manual pavilion, the options for barrier power are for the most part trash besides Optimus manual, which gives you like 10% global reduction. So this is here. It's really good and I would take it every time, but I just put it at a lower priority because it is in the barrier category and it won't have that big of an impact compared to like equips. So yeah, now that I show you guys how everything was structured, I can now move forward and show you guys how to use this. So in order to do that, I need to go in game, and right here I have my vanilla gameplay loaded up. So I'm going to use Modmod for this just because I don't want to have to make you guys wait for me to like build up a cultivator and all that other good stuff. So I'm thinking like, which cultivator should I use for this? I guess I can use this guy, Outer 2. Let's feed him a red ginseng, since he's almost at foundation power already, and I don't really want to figure out how to promote them. And this is from this gameplay, or this game save is from my vanilla run. Alright, so he's eating something else. Alright, so now that we promoted this guy, this is again mostly a tutorial on like how to make the best cultivator for combat. So I'm gonna go with 7 slaughtering sword. This guy has a 6% law match with it, but it doesn't matter because I'll be using Modmod. Obviously you want somebody with better law match. So for combat I will go 7 slaughtering sword, Nimbus, or the fire law or the earth law, so sunflower or true sun. So I'm just going to choose 7 slaughtering sword for this guy. So now that they're a chi shaper, right, we have them at 0 attainment, and if I want to do the planning to figure out what manuals they would take for pre-golden core score, then I would do that. So first I just want to fill out the starting base attainment as 0, and then on top of that I also see what their skill levels are. So I see that their max skill levels are 20, spell is 23, and then protect is 20, and formation is 20 as well. So then once you have that, you can also fill that in. So the current level, their artifact, oh, I'm looking at the protect. Their protect right now is level 0. And I just put the gold level as the max level. Again, these are bolded, so you can like kind of see how to use it. You can see that like this is something that requires you to take user input. And their artifact master is level 1, and their gold level would be actually, as you can see right here, I have this little note right here. The manual called Yin Talisman Scroll adds plus 15 to artifact mastery, and it also adds plus 15 plus. Why did I say plus 15? It adds plus 5 to artifact mastery, and also adds plus 5 to spell. So if you have a cultivator and your goal, and your maximum level for spell and artifact mastery is at like 20, then your goal level should be 15, because you're going to use this manual to get the remaining 5 points, if that makes sense. So let's see, what's this guy's spell level at? Their spell level is at 4, so I fill that out. So again, I wanted to get the protect from 0 to 20. I want to get the artifact mastery from 1 to 15, and then use the learn the manual to add plus 5. Then I want to get the spell from 4 to 15, and then I also have the attainment cost. So this is going to cost 29 attainment, 26 attainment, and then this will cost 50 attainment. And then formation, you can fill this in as well if you do want to do a formation. Obviously, for formation level, you will only need 4 points in formation to fit one more node. So this would be, I don't know, it starts off at 4. So if you're having a formation size of 4, then you wouldn't even need to level it up at all. Or if you're supporting a formation of like 6 people, then you will have a formation level of 8, and so on and so on. Maybe I should add that over here, huh? You know, like if I just do like goal formation size, and then the formation level would show based on that. Yeah, I think I'll do that actually. Because if I do like goal formation size, and then if you say like I want a formation size 6, then this will tell you that you need a goal level of 8. So yeah, I think I'll add that chart too. But yeah, for the most part, we wouldn't deal with formations. So, and then once you have that filled in, if you click on this button, it's going to figure out how much attainment everything is going to cost in total, just because you might not have leveled up all of these skills yet. So right now, as you can see, we're starting off with 0 attainment. So if we maxed out our protect, then we will have 50 attainment. If we maxed out our artifact mastery, then we have 29 attainment. Then if we max out our spell, we have 26. And then it's going to add all 3. So it's telling us how much we have after the skill levels. Then I also have this, which shows attainment after manuals, but I don't have any manuals selected. So yeah. All right, so now that that's done, I obviously don't plan on adding the skills, so I'm just going to deselect those and show you guys how I would select it for manuals if I was going to do it for pre-GC. So for this column right here, you actually can't edit this column. This is just based on the save slots, but you can select different manuals over here. So with this checkbox, it will use the calculations based on this column right here. So this is like the manual selection, unless you were using like a preloaded save. So typically, even if you're loading like a save file that you already filled in, then you would just like recheck everything, or like resort it and then recheck it. But right now, I just want to start from scratch and probably create a new save file. So I'm going to do that right now. So this guy is a cheese shaper, but let's just pretend they're a core shaper. So firstly, the only thing that I really need is the pre-GC manuals, unless I want to increase their mental state. So let's just go to cultivation levels first. And then maybe I want to sort it by cultivation level. So let's filter it by cultivation level. And then I also want to sort it by priority, because I always want to have their priority sorted out. So now everything is, oh, cheese shaper's at the bottom. So maybe if I can do descending, will that help out? All right, so I need to change it to be priority here. And then, oh yeah, if you do 2 of the same filter, then it messes up. And then this ascending or descending is based on filter 2. So I'll do cultivation level descending and priority, and let's see how that looks out. No, that doesn't look better. All right, so let's just change it back to cultivation level and then priority. So you kind of just gotta like play around with it and see like which one you prefer. But I do like having priority first, and then I could also do like value per cost as well, just so I know like which ones are cheaper. But the best one would probably be like priority and then cost based on element, because then you can see like how much everything costs too. Assuming that it would sort it off by the cultivation level as well. So let's see. All right, so let's go to cultivation level. But again, I mean, as a seasoned player, you should know which master cheating manuals to take pre-GC, but I do have them all listed. So as you can see, all of the priority 0 manuals that I have are Core Shaper and Chi Shaper. And then, so these are the pre-GC manuals. So let's just check the manuals that we want to learn. So I do Reformed Lifeblood, right? And now the selected manuals count has increased by 1, and now it's saying the base attainment that it would cost is 2. And then if I go here, I'll show the attainment just so you guys can see the comparison. So this costs 3 attainment, but it's called this guy 2 attainment just because it's connective. If I go to element, oh, I have my cultivator element as fire. My cultivator is actually metal element, so I have to change that actually. So that changes things. So okay, this is still 2. All right. So I guess that didn't change. Oh, I see. So this is an earth elemental manual. Oh yeah, this is from Heavenstone Law, I remember. So that's why it reduced the attainment cost. So as you can see, like my calculations are working. It's showing you the exact attainment cost that it would be for that specific cultivator. So let's just keep going. So again, I will learn Reform Lifeblood, Waterfall Flow. I really want all of these for this guy. This one is a one that reduces their lifespan. So I believe I do have the manual that increases the lifespan to like counteract that in here. So let's see. That should be in priority -1. I'm trying to think if I do have that. I don't, but that's okay because we can still just feed them a pill, so it doesn't really mess up everything. So again, this is also something that's like situational. So this one increases the intelligence. So this is like, you would get this if you wanted to increase their chi sense or their intelligence. But I do want to increase their chi sense, so that's just a good stat to have pre-GC. 10% match chi, select all of this. We have 9 providences. So pretty much all of the tier 0-1, all of the priority 0-1s you would select if you were doing this at the Core Shaper level, but I don't do this at the Core Shaper level. I usually do it at the Primordial Spirit level. And then I change my starting attainment to like whatever it is now. So basically what this is doing is using the selected manuals from this column. But if I turn this off, then it would use the manuals from this other column. So then once I have these selected, I could also save it. Like I can save this build as like a pre-GC like list or whatever. And I would want to do that just because like once you start to do the filters, this column right here is static. So like if you do filters and you start like changing things around, then it's gonna mess things up. So like as you can see right here, we have Reform Lifeblood checked all the way up to Waterfall Flow. But what if I like start to remove manuals? I mean remove laws from my list. Then the first check is now Doctrine of Self-Nourishment, and Reform Lifeblood is not checked. You know what I'm saying? So Reform Lifeblood is now shifted up over here. So it's kind of weird. So you can't really change the filters and stuff unless you save the current selection that you have, and then you can make those sort of like filtering changes. So like for example, if I do select save slot 1 and then I click the save, I actually have a really big macro that I created in order to handle all of the saving for the save slots and the build. So when you do first do that, Google is gonna request for you to do like authorization. And when you authorize it, it's just saying that you're allowing the sheet that's in your Google Drive to like have access to like the Sheets API and stuff like that. So this has nothing to do with me requesting for access from you, but it would just be like you allowing the sheet that is on your machine to, or on your account to like make changes pretty much. So once you once you approve for that authorization, I do have this macro. So let's see. Okay, app script. So if you go into app script, you can see this macro that I have. They're just like 4 macros that I created. So these are heavily based on the current column positions and stuff like that. So if you like move any of these columns around, then that probably mess up the sheet as well. But anyways, back to this. So if I wanted to do like different filters on this list, then I would have to save it. So now when I click save, it's going to be a pop-up. I can save the current pick to slot 1 because I have slot 1 selected. So I would just say pre-GC manuals, because these are all manuals I would do. So this is like a namespace description just to kind of help you out when you're trying to figure out things. So now slave those to slot 1. So now if I load up slot 1, then I have all of these like loaded in this column and selected. And this column again is just a filter on this. So once you create that save and then you load it, this column right here actually figures out which manual should be selected based on the save slot, which is already over here. So now that I have that selected, and I would obviously uncheck this because now I want to use the selected manuals from here instead of the ones that I'm like dynamically selecting. And the cool thing about that is now that I've done that, I can like remove manuals and stuff like that. And even though things are shifted, they still stay checked. So that's the good thing about like saving, and then you can, after you save, you can like change the filters and stuff like that, and it won't mess things up. But for the most part, like I'll do that, and then if I want to make modifications to the build, then I'll just use this column instead. So like usually when I do that, the first thing I do is like check the same boxes that are checked in the save slot, and then if I, so that they're identical, and then I can just like add more onto it. It gets easier over time. It sounds like a lot because it kind of is, but this is super helpful because this has everything really consolidated in terms of which manuals are important. And I know a lot of players are very confused about which manuals to take. So I'm showing you guys, before you get to Golden Core, these are manuals that you want to think about taking because they increase like related stats. So yeah. So now that I have these manuals favorited, I can now go into the game. I mean, now that I have these manuals selected, I can now go into the game and favorite these manuals before I get to the Golden Core breakthrough. But for these, I really wouldn't favor them because I'm not like using them consistently. But I would favor them just in case I wanted to learn them in attainment order. At the same time, you can still sort them by attainment order because now they're in save slot 1 and you can do the filtering now. So like, for example, usually once I have my save slot figured out, then I'll change the filters to do like filter by learn, and then that will put all the ones that are checked at the bottom. I wish it would put them at the top, but I just couldn't figure that out honestly, and I don't know what happened to this. Okay, yeah, filter this by learn, and then I can also filter this by the cost based on the manuals. So it's going to have the learn value, and then I want to make this ascending, of course. So it's going to show me all of the manuals that I want to learn, and then it's going to have them sorted in the cost. So this is pretty much the same as like learning the manuals in attainment order, like I always recommend you do. So I don't even need to favorite these and rely on the mod. I can just copy these names, paste reform lifeblood, and then spell impurity. It's something that I want to learn. It has the correct stats. And then I would go back in here. Obviously, you want to have 2 screens to do this because it would be way faster, but I'm trying to show you guys how it would be. We have 9 providences. Okay, I'm confused. Is this the right disciple? Let's see. Oh, they're not a core shaper disciple. They're just a chi shaper. So let me go ahead and use Modmod to actually increase this guy's level. Just gonna name him Demo 2. NPC manager. This guy, let's give him a breakthrough. Alright, so now they're a core shaper disciple. So let's do that again. And that's another reason why you probably want to make sure you're favoriting those manuals, because now I have to go through that list again. So yeah. Wow, I have a lot of favorited manuals here. Let's unfavorite all of these. This is from my vanilla, so there was a lot of things that I needed to learn. All right. So Reformed Lifeblood, Spell the Impurity. These are all just the manuals I give Match Chi. Honestly, it's nothing crazy to think about, but I'm just doing this so that we can work our way up to when we get to Primordial Spirit, because that's the main thing that you want to focus on. Waterfall Flow, Cloudy Confluence, Aquamarine Chant, Conditioning Chant. I'm zooming through this. Elemental Origins. And then Helios Glaze. Gaze, not Glaze. And I'm just copying and pasting. I've made sure to like really insert these manual names in exactly as they are in game so that you could copy and paste it. But yeah, if you don't have two screens, it's going to be a little bit difficult, but it's going to be worth it for Primordial Spirit. Obviously, like getting to Golden Core is pretty simple unless you're a new player and you don't know exactly which manuals to take. Then this will show you exactly which manuals to take, and it also filters it based on which laws you already have. So like if you didn't have laws, then the tool would show you just the ones that are in the laws that you have. And I can show that. So like if I go back to the tool right here, for example, you get Way of Heavenly Fortune from Ethereal Cave or Otherworld Rift. So if I remove that, then Way of Heavenly Fortune is no longer in this list, but it still shows you all the other ones in the list. Then I can remove all of these things, and then the list gets smaller. And then Heaven Sending Law is the one that has Reformed Lifeblood. So if I remove this, Reformed Lifeblood is no longer there. So again, we can just toggle this on. So that's just the benefit of first saving. All right. So now the full list is back. And then of course I would deselect this if I wanted to make modifications, because I want to have everything selected, and then I could like rechange the manuals. I'm just dragging these checkboxes down. All right, so I have all of these manuals, and this says that I have 21 manuals selected. So let's see how many manuals I favored just to see if I did this right. If I go to favorites, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 16 manuals, and this is 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So yeah, I have the 21 manuals. And then this also says, my tool says that once I learn these 21 manuals, they're going to add 139 base attainment. And if you go over here, it says attainment after manuals would be 139. And then attainment after skill levels is still like 0. So because I'm not adding skill levels, but typically at Primordial Spirit is when I would do this, and I would do skill levels first. So yeah, obviously this should be having my disciple with 139 attainment. Obviously I'll need to use Modmod to give my guy enough inspiration to learn these manuals though. So let's go into NPC Manager and Modmod. If you don't know how to do this, then you're going to learn. So for increasing the cultivator's experience, you just search tree, and it's this tree ESP value. Let's just change this to 10 million. Let's change this. Let's do 20 million actually. And I'll do edit list, and then I'll do confirm list. And then if I search tree ESP, now we're at 20 million. And if I go to the cultivator, let's see, where are they? This is really hard to look at. Okay, I lost the cultivator. Alright, I'll just wait. They should have 20 million experience though, and they should start learning things now. So I'll definitely see. Okay, there we go. I'm like, I'll see it when I know. So yeah, as you can see, oh, I did it twice. Yeah, so they have 40 million. So they're learning these manuals. And then once all of these manuals are learned, then they should have as much inspiration, as much base attainment as I calculated in the sheet. Let's just make sure this isn't like too hot. Yeah, this is 91 degrees. They might die looking at this place. Okay, they have really good temperature tolerance, up to 142. They're good. Alright, so they learned the first batch of manuals, so let's get them to learn the remaining batch of manuals. Oh, never mind. I think they just want to eat. Okay. Let's remove this beast blood from this room. Alright, they're going. come on demo too. And again, we're just learning all of the match chi manuals. I didn't do anything. This guy already has 10,000 match chi. That's why you want to unlock all of the laws. Then I just have 3 more that I need to learn. Obviously, enrichment inspiration, I would be way more picky if I wasn't right now. And that's pretty much the purpose of the tool, so you can like figure out exactly what you want to do and which manuals are better to get based on the value per cost and things like that. So now that they have learned all of the manuals, you can look at their attainment, and as you can see right here, they have 139 attainment. So yeah, they're ready to do their golden core breakthrough because they already have learned all of the manuals that I have personally recommended that you get for increasing the cultivator's match chi before they become a golden core. And I actually didn't make sure to eat the pill that increased their lifespan, so they could have died there, but luckily they already had some good lifespan due to them having really high perception and con, which increasing their lifespan. So anyways, after you get to that point, you would get your cultivator to golden core. So I'm just going to do a breakthrough on this guy using Modmod again. I already have them selected, so let's do breakthrough. I think that's golden core. Let's see. What is this? Sword Will. Okay, I think their golden core disciple is empty though. So let's see. Yeah, they're golden core disciple. They just don't have any golden core score, which is pretty funny. That's kind of weird, honestly. Because this is still the same UI as the other one. As like if they were a core shaper. So let's see. Upgrade, kill Tribulation. Yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. Anyways, now they're a golden core disciple. Obviously, the first thing we would get is meditation in order to get them to golden core. So if I was starting this from the beginning, then I would check off meditation and get that. So that would also increase their chi cost. But because I am dealing with the save slots selection and not my current selection, like the edits that I'm doing, then it doesn't reflect that. So now I have to change it to this because I'm now making edits. So now we have 22, and now they'll be sitting at 143 attainment once I learn meditation. And then obviously you might want to learn like some manuals that increase mental state. I also have those marked down as well. So let's go to meditation. This is like bare bones, like if you wanted to make a cultivator just for combat, like you just only need to get match chi, get their golden core up. Obviously I'm using Modmod, so their golden core score is trash, even though they had 12,000 pre-GC match chi, which is really good. So now that they're golden core, they have meditation. They're at the predicted 143 base attainment, which is not super relevant because this is not a Nimbus cultivator, so you don't really care about base attainment, but it's good to know, you know, in case you want to do like attainment, tribulations, and stuff like that. All right, so now that they're golden core, typically if I'm late game, I have a great array, I have great chi on tile, I have great elemental bonus. I don't really need to do anything extra to get them the Primordial Spirit besides cultivate, and they probably have really good law match because I actually used a disciple that has good law match rather than a disciple that I'm just using my mod on. So now let's bring this guy all the way up to Primordial Spirit. So we're at Sword Will, so I just need to do what, 2 more breakthroughs in my mod. But let me watch this because I don't know if it's going to give me the Tribulation, because I know there is a Tribulation, but let's see. I want to move this menu over a little bit. Okay, there we go. Like, can I not move it so I can see this? And then let's do breakthrough. Okay. And now they're Primordial Spirit. Alright, so now that the disciple is a Primordial Spirit, this is like, for the most part, the starting point at which I would be for when I really start to use this tool to like actually plan out a build to make, again, the strongest cultivator possible. So again, let me first equip an artifact because it only makes sense for me to talk about this with an artifact equipped, I guess. So let's put him on the artifact, and then they also need a panacea pill to cure their ailments. So let's do that too. So they have the artifact, they have the panacea pill, and is there any way that I can sort this to the point where it's like not annoying me? Okay. That works. So we got 212 artifact power. So this is the main thing that you will want to increase when you're making a combat based Xiandao, is you want to increase their artifact power, artifact chi recovery. You do not want artifact mass chi. And as I explained with the priority, I've already like explained all the other stats that are good. You want the cultivator to have good chi recovery, all that. All of these are going to make them a really good and well-rounded cultivator. Like, you just don't go for only artifact power, you go for everything. And since I already have all of these manuals favorited, I will show you how that works out now. So usually I would actually start using my tool at Primordial Spirit. So instead of doing all that pre-GC stuff, that probably wouldn't exist. Like, I don't need to use the tool to figure out which manuals I need to learn to increase the chi, because I'm an experienced player. So I would just start it off here, and I would say, okay, well, right now I have 143 attainment. So I'm just going to put 143 as my starting attainment, right? So I'll just change that to 143. And then it is obviously doing calculations based on the stuff that I had selected before. But since I already factored those into the starting attainment, now I have to make all of these check marks blank instead, since I'm not even dealing with these. So now I just want to focus on creating a build for this guy to have like really good damage and just be a very well-rounded combat cultivator. So I want to filter by priority for sure, and then probably cost based on element, so I can see everything, and I can also like see everything in order of how I would more than likely learn it. So then I would switch to probably save slot 2, and we can make this an empty save slot. So let's change save slot 2. Actually, I think I did save my game to, oh wait, slot 1 is pre-GC manuals. Okay, the selected one is save slot 2, which is a Nimbus build that I was working on. But if I go to slot 1, then it tells me the pre-GC manuals. But okay, all right, let's go to slot 2. Let's just do like an empty for now, just so that this isn't like confusing me. And now let's load up slot 2. So we have that. So now let's go through and actually select manuals that are like really good. So I do want to show the value call per cost, because I value that column the most, and then I'll remove the attainment column just because that's kind of in the way. Then if I could, I would also remove the yin yang cost. I could probably remove that from this before I put this out, actually, because that would be really easy. That's the what this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, so it should be 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it should be column AI and AJ, which are those manuals. So let's try to remove this because we're not working with Nimbus Disciples right now. Alright, so I did it successfully, but now it's still blue and red. So let's see. Quick edits, you know. I'm going to paste this format so that it's just like everything else, because I don't want to confuse you guys with like Nimbus stuff, because I'm going to have a separate sheet that's the same exact thing as this, but for Nimbus Disciples, and this sheet is actually derived from my Nimbus sheet, but I decided to make something simple because Nimbus is very complicated, and this is still really useful for if you want to make any cultivator. Alright, so back to this. Now we're on Primordial Spirit. We're working on creating a build for save slot 2, and we have the cultivation level, and then we have the value per cost and all of that. So now you can see that. So I would just start off based on priority. I have priority 1. Usually when I'm making like my first strongest disciple is to fight the dragon. So I have chanted Cloud Dispelling as my first priority spell, because you need that for the dragon. And then Meticulous Visions, this one reduces attainment. But I actually wouldn't select this one, because this one can actually be selected from here, because I do have a list of everything that can reduce attainment, and I'll show you guys how to use that later. Or actually, I can show you guys how to do that now. And I have Meticulous Revisions actually selected over here, so that kind of figures it out. But I don't know, maybe I would have to change the cost, but this kind of makes it like very ambiguous, honestly. So let's make sure Meticulous Revision isn't selected. So anyways, when I get my first when I get my Primordial Spirit, I'll firstly fill in their base attainment, and then I'll figure out what skill levels I want to increase, because I strongly believe that it's just better when you increase your skill levels first. But if you want to, you can kind of like try to figure it out, but I don't really want to do it in a certain order, because skill levels cost increase, so you can kind of do it in that order, but I just do everything like in one go. So for your top cultivator, you want to increase their protect. You want them to have great artifact mastery. You want to have great spell, so they have great spell cooldown. So now that I have those selected, then it says after I learn all of these skills, then they will have 248 attainment. And then we can just double check that by removing this. As you can see, it's 143. Then we check all these, and it would be 248. So let's just go ahead and learn all these skills. I always recommend that you max out protect first, just because, you know, if you're not rich in inspiration, then you just want to have like really good protect. And then again, for the spells, you just want to stop at 15 instead of 20. That's something that I'm just kind of trying to reprogram myself to do as well. So let's go to 17, 18, 19, 20 for protect. And then for spell, I would stop at 15, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I can count. 13, 14, 15. Alright, so I increase those manuals. Let's see what our attainment is. Now it's at 248. We can look back at the tool, and it checks out 248 attainment. Alright, so once that's done, the next thing that I would do is learn manuals, but there is a step before you learn manuals if you want to be like maximum efficiency. So for maximum efficiency, you want to actually figure out how much attainment you need to do your attainment tribulations. Because when you do I have a long explanation here. So pretty much when you do attainment tribulations, you're reducing your base attainment. So that's going to disqualify you for being able to do a tribulation. So you actually need like extra attainment to do a tribulation. So right now I have it set so that I need to do 5. I want to do 5 attainment tribulations, right? And that will reduce my attainment by 150, but I need to get to 390 attainment just to do those 5 attainment tribulations, because they will reduce my attainment by 150. So if I have 390 attainment, right, and then I reduce my attainment by 150, then I will then have 250 attainment. And then once I have 250 attainment, then I can do the 5th tribulation, which will reduce my attainment by 50. So then I'll be able to do that. So yeah, that's pretty much like how it works out. Let's see. And again, sorry, it's 390 plus the Heavenly Talisman. So the 390 plus, it would be that plus the Heavenly Talisman. I'm trying to figure out why this filter is messed up. I think I need to fix it. So, but this right here has the requirement with the Heaven Sent. So yeah, you need 390, and then if you get the Heaven Sent Talisman, then that's going to increase your attainment to like what, 600, I think. Yeah, 600. So 390 attainment, and then if you have the Heaven Talisman, then you have 600 attainment because it adds 210. So then when you do Tribulations 1 through 4, you're going to reduce your attainment by a total of 100. Where can I see that at? Attainment reduction. Oh, it doesn't have that, but like if I do a sum of this, then that equals 100. So when you do the first 4 tribulations, it's going to reduce your attainment by 100. So then you'll be then sitting at 500. But if you had like 599 attainment, and then you did 4 tribulations, now you only have 499 attainment. So you actually cannot do the 5th attainment. So that's why you need to first figure out how much attainment you want to have, so that when you equip the talisman, you can actually do all of your attainment tribulations, so that you can reduce your attainment. If you want to optimize on attainment cost, but that's not really necessary for the regular Xiandao disciples, unless you just want to do it just to be optimal. So now I know that if I want to do 5 attainment tribulation, I need to have 390 attainment, like without the Heavenly Talisman. But if I want to do 4, then I need to have like 250 attainment without the Heavenly. So now I know, like, once I get to like 250 attainment, then I actually want to stop learning manuals and then start doing tribulations, because then I can just knock out the tribulations, reduce my attainment, and then relearn manuals for a cheaper price, if you catch what I'm saying. I have all the steps right here, so you can kind of try to make sense of it. I mean, I've been talking for 50 minutes, so might get boring. Anyways, let's just keep going. So then I would just start to build with that in mind. Again, let's start working on the build. So yeah, let's just start selecting menus. This guy's gonna be fighting the dragon. I do want to reduce attainment, but I actually don't want to choose this manual. Let's see. Yang cost. Why is that there? Value per cost. Ah, I must have removed the wrong one. So let's see. What's AH? Let's just double check. AH stats. Okay, yeah, we want stats, but we don't want yen cost and yang cost, which is what I removed. AJ and L. Okay. I really don't know why that says yen cost and it shows 0. Trying to figure out. I probably messed something up, but it's okay. So I can just re-add those sheets and try to figure that out later on. So I do want to re-add columns AJ and AK. So let's do this. AJ, AK. I'll just go back and figure out which ones I removed. Huh, I wonder why that's not working. Yeah, this is very complicated, honestly. I was doing a lot of focusing when working on this. AH, comma, AJ, comma, AK, comma. Let's see, I know the parse formula column only once. Oh, do I have AK somewhere else? Oh yeah, I do have AK somewhere else. Okay, so I don't want AK, I want... I don't know. I genuinely do not know. It's okay, I have a copy of this, I'll fix it later. Alright, so I want the value per cost to show up, pretty much. And then I also want to see how much attainment these are costing, but right now I really can't see how much they cost. Let's see, if I do attainment, then I can see 2. And then I'm wondering why this... Oh, it's because I have these headers. I think they're... No, I don't think they're hard-coded. Let's see. If I change this column name, let's see if that would change. Then I would definitely know whether or not that was it. Yeah, so this is definitely the yang cost table. And I don't want to have that there. But I'm confused on why it's there, because the yang cost table is AK. Oh, if or wow. Interesting. I forgot what I was doing with this, honestly. This is a really big formula. Oh, I see. AK was the last one, so I want to end the last value with the comma. So I'm trying to figure out if I need to add a comma or not at the end. But instead of AK, I don't want to use AK anymore. I want to use AL. So I removed the AL column, I guess. So I actually need the last one to be that. So AH. So basically saying if any of these filters are actually selected, then it would use the last column. Alright. M4, yeah. So I want to stop at AI, basically, instead of stopping at 8K like I had before. Alright, so this should be AI and then AI. There we go. Alright, I'm back. That was a big brain streamer. Midstream math. Alright. I figured it out though. Alright, so now I have the metal disciple calls here, so that should be good for you guys when I do share that out. So yeah, so I will add these manuals. Again, Channel Cloud Dispelling for metal disciple calls is only one. So I can see all that, and then this should still work. So let's see. Cost based on element. Oh, I have this as like something that you can't remove. So this will just always be there. Yeah, I see. Alright, so that's unchanging. Alright, so let's pick these manuals again. Alright, so strike chant again. I would do this if I'm starting at Primordial Spirit and I assume that I'm rich in inspiration. These are all of the manuals that I recommend that you take. So yeah, strike chant, killing intent. This has 10% beast artifact power, lunar farm. This is really good. And then I also have a priority description. So if you are just kind of looking at this list, like what's going on, you can read this too. So like lunar farm artifact power is a medium amount. That's how much I thought it would be. So then supreme yen flow. This is something that you would only take if you were if your cultivator needed some more mental state after GC. And I typically do take this manual after GC because I do like to have that plus 45 mental state and to balance out the loss of mental state from the other manual. But for now, because I actually cheated and just leveled my guy up without needing them to cultivator, I don't need to select that. So then Doobie Chant, and then Yen Talisman Scroll. This is the one that increases the stats by 5. It's in the Nimbus law. So if you're also confused about where they are coming from, then you can go to like law and you can see like which law each one is in. Divine Mastery. This increases spell power. So all of these manuals are really good, especially the priority ones. And then if you're deciding between like priority 1 manuals, I would go for the one that has a higher cost based on its value. So this is 2,500 for 7. So you get like 357% per attainment cost compared to this one, which is 800% bonus for 6. So you get only 133 points per cost. So these are all things that you can consider, or you cannot consider it, assuming that you're rich. Now I hope you're doing this when you're rich. Vitality Chant, this is number 1, or priority 1, because it's a really good heal spell. And then you just have to be careful with these because you do have to, they are exclusive. So then you would choose between Supreme Form or True Form. Obviously True Form is the better option because you can't get cheat anywhere. You can get these other stats anywhere, but I don't know, if you were just playing this gameplay up to a certain point and you don't really care about cheat, then you could take True Form or Supreme Form. But anyways, when you search them in the manual pavilion, they all show up together. So you'll kind of get a hint on that. Divine Awareness. And then Primordial Nimbus Spirit. This is only for Nimbus disciples, and I have that right here in the description. Only works for Nimbus disciples, so hopefully you read that and actually don't learn that. Then we have Duality Immortal Body. This is increasing the cultivator's chi sense, but you only take this. It's pretty expensive, but you only take this if you need chi sense. I don't really care about chi sense right now. I'm just want to go for like power, honestly. So let's actually switch this to Supreme Form, then Divine Awareness. This says Sub-Spirit option because there are 5 manuals that give Sub-Spirits that are all exclusive as well, and you'll see them all when you search it up. So yeah, Primordial Embryo, Mana Codex, Play Reader. Yeah, pretty much this whole list. Like if you're rich, I would go with this whole list, except for the ones that don't really add stuff. So this adds 20 battle, but it get reduces mental by 20, so you might not want to get that, but battle is a really good buff in terms of damage. So yeah, Reflected Self, number of artifacts plus 2, obviously we need that. Sort of Oblivion, this is very important, and reduces artifact power. So if anything, I would say just these priority 1 manuals are super good. As you can see right now, we're already at 544 attainment, so things are getting really beefy, you know, things are getting very expensive. So yeah, you just keep going. Sword Control, Artifact Recovery Multiplier, that's good. This is good. All these are good, trust me. Like if I say it's good, it's good. Then you have Empathy Chant, Mind Blast, Spirit Gale. This is a really low cost But if you're rich, I would take this. But I mean, you get a really low value per cost. So let's turn this filter off, and then so we can just look at this. Like you're only getting 25 points per point, but I mean, you're rich. Who cares? We're rich. Spellfire. But yeah, the main thing is like if you're a new player, you don't even know that these menus exist. You don't know what they do. So this just has a consolidated list of everything. And again, I'm going to keep reiterating that like this is kind of mundane, but it helps out, especially for new players. Mind Blaze, you don't really need to reduce spell cost, but it's useful. Again, we're coming from a rich standpoint. So Chaos Void, this is very situational. If you don't have any manuals that can add an AoE spell, then you would take this. But if you have manuals that can give you an AoE spell, then you don't need this, because this is just good because it's the only orthodox AoE spell. So if you don't have any AoE spell, then take this, but it is very expensive, so I really wouldn't take it. In terms of like a regular build, I would just find one in a random law, but I like to also deal with the orthodox law just because I know that like that's what we can get. And this has a big con boost, so I wouldn't really go for this. And then 20% barrier power, this is okay. And again, as I mentioned, barrier power is like care less about it, but again, if you're maxed out, this is pretty much what the manuals that like a maxed out Xiandao would be. And then as you can see right here, after we learn the manuals, we would be at 835 attainment. But the good thing is that we're going to do tribulations in between learning these manuals, so the attainment will actually be reduced by however we select it. So because we have the capacity to get up to 835, we can actually choose a stronger tribulation to do. So we could choose like, let's see, we would need 870 attainment to do 8 tribulations. The problem with 8 tribulations is that 8 tribulations is like really powerful. So you just gotta make sure that you're doing this for like a really strong cultivator if you want to choose that. I don't know if I can use Modmod to just kind of beat the tribulation and also get the bonuses from the tribulation. So I don't know. But yeah, this is just something that you would think about. I think something like 4 or 5 would be more conservative. And if you're rich on inspiration, you don't really need to reduce attainment at all. But this is just something to think about. So let's just set up for 5. So I know that I need to get 390 attainment. And yeah, or I need to get up to 600. So when I get to 390, I'll equip the Heavenly Talisman and then do the Tribulations. Or at least that's what I would do if I could do that. But yeah. So basically what this is saying that like if you want to make a perfect Xiandao, it's going to cost you like 800 attainment, but you can also continuously reduce the attainment with other means. So then I would do the same thing that I did for the pre-GC build and just take all these manuals and then like favorite them. But first I would save. So I would just select slot 2, which is empty, and then I would say like, I don't know, perfect, expensive, orthodox, build. And it's perfect expensive. So pretty much if you choose like any of these manuals that I have listed, because I personally picked them and looked at all of them and like overly analyze all of them, then you will have a perfect build no matter how many you get. If you have any of these manuals, you have a perfect build because you have all of the great stats and you have them within your means. And I don't know if I have the energy to learn all these manuals, but let's uncheck this box now that we have save slot 2 like loaded, but there's 55 manuals and they're going to add 587 attainment to my guy. So they're going to be at 835 attainment. So now that I have them all loaded up in slot 2, I can now do some better filtering. So again, I just like to filter by learn. So I'll do cost based on element, and then I'll do learn. Oh, it has this other filter because I messed up the title from before. So let's just delete that. Let's see. Can I remove this? Okay, maybe I just have to change the name over here. Yeah, let's fix that. I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked a little bit. Alright, there we go. The color is back. I need everything to be pretty. Alright. Alright, so yeah, I like to filter based on learn, and then I also like to filter based on cost, based on element. And then I'll do ascending or descending. Let's do ascending. So this is all just about like trial and error, like just play around with the filters and see which one you like. I think maybe learn should be first and then cost based on element should be second. Yeah, I like this. So as you can see, the cost is in perfect order. And then I have all of the manuals listed out. So then this is when I would go back into the manual pavilion and start to favorite things. So let's see if I can do this. I have to favorite 55 manuals, guys, so bear with me. Let's actually try to... I would prefer to have a manual pavilion here, but I believe I do have one here just because that's where my... like, whatever I was doing was mostly here, like my cultivation arrays here and everything like that. So again, just for color, I would just remove these favorites just because they were pre-GC, and then just start working on the ones for like the big Primordial Spirit build. So again, I can just copy and paste from the list. Chant of Cloud Dispelling, Harmonious Chant, boom. I can just find all of these manuals and favorite them effortlessly. And in between favoriting the manuals, I would definitely like save your game, just because it just makes things easier. Heavenly Panacea, Earthbound Chi. That one actually is not that good, especially if you have a good golden core score, but you know, every point counts. Strike Chant. I wish there was a way that I can like import these things. Let's see. So I searched up Killing Intent and I got multiple options, so this gives me an idea that maybe some of these are exclusive. So I'm just gonna double check all of these. Let's see. Alright. So this one just says killing abilities, but it has the word killing in it, so I guess that's why it's there. Yeah, as long as there's no exclusive manuals, then I'm good. So let's favorite that. The next one is Lunar Farm, Sword Control, Amalgam. And then if two of them show up, then you just gotta look to see if it has any exclusivity rules, and this one doesn't. I want to take this manual anyway, so let's favorite that. Records of the Perfected Warrior. Like, this is just the perfect build, but I want to say it's expensive because you can really always get this much attainment, but it just has everything that you would ever need in terms of increasing your cultivator's power besides the unorthodox manuals. And I don't really deal with the unorthodox manuals just because I know that you're not guaranteed to always get that. So why would I like try to teach people how to like learn with unorthodox manuals if I know that they're going to have different unorthodox manuals every time? Now what you could do is use the priority list to like search for those certain stats that I've listed out when you do get unorthodox manuals, and then that would give you a good idea of like which ones you would look for. Like you would want to find like an unorthodox manual based on like chi recovery and stuff like that. Let's see, I searched up Blade Oath, Divine Mastery. Let's see, that's good. Mortality Records, Spell Power, you always need stuff like that. Goddess of Grain's Blessing. And there's so many manuals in this list. You would think that like this is everything, but no, there's so many manuals in the game, and you guys take a lot of bad manuals. Alright, so I searched up Hollow Cascade. So this is from the Sub-Spirit option, so I would just pick whichever one that I prefer. You can get this from a friendship manual, so that's what those are good for, is like making you feel better about not picking like this, even though it is artifact power. Like obviously the best option here would be the Mass Chi bonus, because you can't get that from unorthodox manuals. Spell power, artifact power, you can get that from unorthodox manuals, so you can use that to like supplement. And then what's this? Void Worship. But yeah, those were the exclusive manuals. Like you can only pick one of those 5. Then Chaos Void. And then Grand Chariot Ultimate. And then of course, instead of using Chaos Void, I would look for like a spell, a battle spell that targets like all visible targets. That's pretty much all you need. So like once you start to get like a lot of different manuals, like, or a lot of different laws from other cultivators, you don't even need to get Chaos Void. So I can get this right here. Maybe I need to add something that would add the like factor for unorthodox manuals, but I don't know. It's kind of like past me. But yeah, I'll just keep Chaos Void in here just because I'll be using Modmod. So Grand Chariot Ultimate. Let's make sure Chaos Void is still favorited. Okay, yeah. Then I still have a long list, like 20 more manuals I need to add. Infinite records. And then, where was I at? I lost my spot. Okay, there we go. Vitality chant. And this is all in attainment cost order. Sitting in Oblivion. Then I have Supreme Form, Tier 1. I don't know which one I want to take for this one. I think I want to take, yeah, Base Match Chi, True Farm. And then I know that like if my like math is off, it's because like I have multiple of these like exclusive ones. So like for example, like right here, I do have Divine Awareness selected, and I already said that I don't want to get Divine Awareness. So that's pretty much the point in which I would like duplicate this list on like this side so I can like manually change the values. So I will use the manual selection instead, and then I would remove Divine Awareness from the list. So let's see, Divine Awareness is, where is it? I was just looking at it right here. Remove Divine Awareness from the list. And we're on slot 2, so now we're at 54 instead of 55. And then I have Supreme Form right here, but I don't think I have any of the other form ones because I wouldn't make that mistake. Then if you want, you can save it back to slot 2. It's just annoying because you have to retype in the name. Perfect, expensive, orthodox, build. Let's save this. So then when you like load it up, it should. So because I saved it and I'm sorting it by the things that we have selected learned, then it actually just changed the ordering of everything. So now it's refiltered, but I messed up the ordering that I had from before, you see? So that's kind of why you kind of want to leave things alone in between doing things, but it's okay. So something got shifted, but the good thing is that everything was in attainment order, so I should be able to quickly figure out where I was at. I was at Divine Awareness, which is let's see, that one costs 9 attainment. So I was down there somewhere. So let's start off with the 9 attainment manuals. I remember doing Vitality Chant, Sitting in Oblivion, Supreme Form. Okay, so I'm probably at Spellfire. If I go back at the footage, I see exactly where I was at. So Spellfire, Steadcast Incantation, Primordial Embryo. This one is really good. So we're getting to the manuals that cost like 12 attainment, the expensive ones. Mana Coda, this is really good. It gives like base spell power. Blade Reader. I pretty much know everything about all of the useful manuals just from doing this process and working on this sheet. Like I've literally been working on this for a month. I have spent a month so that you guys can learn in an hour, okay? So watch the full video on 2x speed. Alright, Empathy Chant. I promise, if you like start to use this or like just use it as like a guide in terms of which manuals are good to take, then you will be able to effortlessly make strong cultivators, whether you want to do like a weak build, an expensive build. Like you set up like a 100 attainment build for you guys. Like just pick the ones that just have the best returns based on the values. So yeah, Mind Blast, Spirit Gale, Reincarnated Form. Then this is like the build that I just described is like something that I plan on using for my Nimbus run, which I am on right now for my early Drake run. And then we have Sword of Truth, which adds extra artifact slots, Sword of Oblivion, Echoing Chant, and then last but not least, Fervent Spirit. But again, I can't take this one because it's exclusive with Hallowed Cascade. So I will actually remove this from the list. So I removed it from the list, but this time I'm not going to save it because I'm sorting everything by learn, so that would mess it up. I learned on the first mistake. I probably going to make that mistake multiple times. So right now it says I have 53 manuals selected. So I do just want to double check and make sure that there are 53 favorites. So for favorited manuals, let's see, I believe there's 8 per row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 45 right here. And then 45 plus 8 is already 53. So this is a little bit more than 53, I believe. Or am I doing my math wrong? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 8 times 6 is 42, right? Yeah, it's definitely 40. No, it's 48. Okay, 8 times 6 is 48. I'm sorry, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 8 times 6 is 48. All right, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. Okay, cool. So my predictions were perfect in terms of the manual that was offsetted. So now I'm in a position where I can pretty much learn these manuals. So this is where I would save. So let me just save my game. This is where I would recommend you save, because this is the build. Like, we have the build, everything's favorite. Now if we have the mod that sorts menus by attainment, then you just click and you're good. So manuals, favorite it. And then obviously I would create a save scum on that too. And that was a lot of work too. It took like 15 minutes to do that, but it's super important if you're new. Alright. So now we go to demo 2. And then go to our favorites, only show menus we can learn. Obviously we can learn them all. And I already have a mod that sorts things in attainment order, so it's just gonna automatically do that. And then again, I'm just looking at the attainment just so that I can see like when I reach the minimum threshold to do the attainment tribulations. So I'm just letting my game run so this guy can learn the manuals. So again, once this guy gets to, let's see, 390 attainment, then I can equip a Heavenly Talisman. I can do 5 attainment tribulations. And you kind of want to do this in the middle, because if you do this all the way at the end after you learn all your manuals, then what's the point in reducing your attainment if you already learned everything? You know what I'm saying? So if you want to learn everything for cheaper, then you would do it in like the middle order, or like, so you would want something conservative, because obviously this guy has enough to get 799 total attainment after they learn their manuals, which will allow them to do 7 attainment tribulations with the Heavenly Talisman equipped. But you don't really want to get to that point. But I mean, it's 799, so like I can do 7 tribulations and then have it help out with the 99. But this is going to reduce my attainment by 280, so I would probably want to do something like more in between, like maybe stop at 540, because then that would be like, once I get to 540, then I'll reduce my attainment by 210, and then when I re-add, I still have I have more things to add. You know what I'm saying? So I still have like, what, 250 more to add. So I reduce it by 210 by doing the tribulations after I reach 540 attainment, and then I can continue to relearn things at an even cheaper price inspiration wise. But again, it doesn't really matter if you don't have high inspiration costs. And then after you do the attainment tribulations, and when you would start to consume the consumables that also reduce attainment. So first you would do the origin force, because the origin force requires you to have 300 attainment, so you just want to get that out the way. Then there's consumables like you have Imposite Fruit, the Divine Bones, Meticulous Revisions, Fortune Dew, you want to do Tribulations. And then like when you click this is when it will show like your resulting attainment after reducing it. And the origins is actually kind of different, because it's based on like every time you refine one, you have a chance to like reduce your attainment by a certain amount. So you actually have to record the actual result. So this can go from like 10 to 29. So if you record it as like 15, then it's going to change that to 15, because it's based on this value, because you want to use it, you want to calculate based on the actual result that you get. So I have that set up for you guys too. All right, so it looks like this guy did the first round of learning. Let's see where their attainment is at. So our goal would be 540 is when we would stop and try to do tribulations. So let's do favorites, and you know, just keep going down the list. We're about to learn Ian Talisman Scroll, which is going to bring this guy to have 20 and all of their skill levels, which is going to be super nice. So yeah, okay, we got enemies showing up. That's annoying. I don't even know which guys are good for battle, honestly. Yeah, there we go. They should make easy work of these guys. Yeah, this is like my strongest disciple right here, so has, or at least should have, a lot of artifact powers. Let's see. I don't know, I'm just clicking anything just to get these pop-ups out of the way. Wondering, where's my Nimbus disciple? Maybe it should be this gun, yeah. Yeah. She's probably not. Okay, she is pure yang. Okay, this is probably like an older save file. Alright, let's focus on this guy. Just getting distracted by the pop-ups. I wish I can do this like by itself. So again, I would just watch the attainment. It's going up. As you can see right here, now all of the stats are 20 because I got that Yin Talisman scroll. It doesn't do overcap, but it does give you those points. And I actually should have gotten my spell to 3 more levels, so I should have gotten that to 18 to be at 23, and I gotta spend more money. But I don't really care about doing that right now because most of the time you're just gonna be working with like someone with a cap of 20. But if you do know like what your eventual cap would be, then that's what you'll set that up so that you just learn Yin Talisman scroll last. Anyways, back to this guy. We're just watching their attainment. They're at 406 attainment. Again, start off with really high inspiration, so we're pretty low now, yeah. So things are getting really expensive. So we're at 445, and I already used 40 million inspiration, so let's give them another 20 million inspiration. Let's go to demo, search up tree. Let's change this to 40, 123, 123.0. Confirmed, and then let's go to tree. Oh, it looked like they actually were able to learn the last manual though, so that was good. So now they're back at 40 million inspiration. So as you can see, the inspiration costs are getting high. So maybe this will be the point in which you start to do the tribulations, just accept doing however many you can do at this time. So I can check that right now. So let's see, favorites. We only have a little bit to, yeah. So like I think I would do it like right around here. So this guy now has 445 attainment, which will allow them to do how many? So they can do 5 attainment tribulation. They would need to get to 540 attainment in order to do one more attainment tribulation, which would be the 6th one. But I don't think that would be worth it, since as you saw, the prices are really expensive now. So at this point, I would just equip a Heavenly Talisman on them so that we can increase their attainment even further. So let's see. Where's this guy at? Demo 2. So now that I've done that, I can now do 4 attainment tribulations. Oh, never mind. This is not equipped. Let's remove this. Okay. Now I can do 6 attainment tribulations, but I really can only do 5 because as I start to do this, I'm not going to have over 600 attainment. It's just not going to happen. So let me actually do an attainment tribulation. So if I started a tribulation, you can have a tribulation room and stuff like that. So I already have this marked for my vanilla run. This says wood. This guy's match chi is horrible. I think there's a way that I can use Modmod to remove the tribulation, but it's also only the first one. But obviously you will equip like the dark armor talisman and all that other good stuff to do the tribulations. So dark armor talisman, they already have maxed out protect, and then they will also have the Codex of Tai. I believe Lady Cloud probably has it since this is my main disciple. Yep. Then they also have a giant turtle shell, which also helps, and the flood dragon scale. Oh, this is sub-spirit gear. Yeah, let me leave that one alone, actually. Oh, this is sub-spirited this too. Interesting. Alright. Let's just have them borrow the secret Codex of Tai. So you have that. Got the dark armor talisman. Put that too. Okay. Alright, so now we're at 8.62 barrier. They got some healing spells. I mean, Vitality Chain is healing 100,000. I don't have Reverse of Cycle, which kind of sucks. I probably should have learned that too. Did I select that off? I don't think I did. Let's check this, because I probably missed Reverse of Cycle. Here, reverse the cycle. Here, reverse the cycle. Here. Where are you, my friend? Oh, it's right here. Oh, reverse the cycle costs 18 attainment for this guy because he's a metal cultivator. Alright, that sucks. That's why it was so late. Alright. So they don't have reverse the cycle, so let me... I guess I can just learn this. It doesn't really matter because everything else is already in the same task bracket, I believe. Let's see. Oh, never mind. This costs 4. Oh, I must have skipped over some. Oh, never mind. I'm looking at the wrong number. Yeah, these are 12 and then this is 18. So I'll wait. I think these should be good to do the tribulation. I hope that I can use Modmod to remove the tribulation because they definitely can't probably do 5 tribulations though. Oh, and I still have the artifact equipped. Yeah, this is bad. Yeah, doing tribulations with artifact equipped is horrible. But let's see how they do. It's just the first one, so yeah. So this is like what makes a Xiandao cultivator good, like these stats. As you can see, they're not losing that much cheese. It's only the first tribulation, so not much to boast about. But as you can see, these spells are really good, and they would be helpful in combat as well. So let's see if I do Thunder Kill, what will happen? Like, will their attainment still get reduced? So that's 655, so it should be reduced by 10. So this is the first attainment tribulation. Let's see. Nope, it just saves them from the tribulation, but I don't think it helps them be able to do it. Oh, did I kill them? Well, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's heal, revive, and fulfill their needs. I think that actually works out now because now they can do the Attainment Tribulations without the artifact. But yeah, let's just do this Attainment Tribulation over again. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to like just end the Modmod thing. I don't know what Thunderkill does then. Maybe I didn't read it properly. Was that Thunderkill? Oh, punish. Oh, I was supposed to do this. Kill Tribulation. Let's try that. Alright, so the Tribulation is killed. So now they're at 645 and they have... Okay, so they did survive it. Nice. I was able to use my... I don't care about this. Alright, so yeah. So in this step, I will go through all of the Tribulations. So this is fire. But obviously the Cultivator will be strong enough to do it. I just don't have a golden first score in this guy. So once the Tribulation starts, I am just reducing their base attainment. So we do kill Tribulation. Now we're at what? 625 because that was the second one. Now I do this one. Alright. NPC manager. Same thing. Again, I'm not advising you to cheat. I'm just using this for the demonstration, guys. Please don't use Modmod for this. But please do use Modmod if you need to like test things out. Let's do this. Let's kill this Tribulation. I think I did it too early. Oh, did I click the Shapeshift Tribulation by mistake? Because this is 5 Tribulation, not 1. Yeah, I probably did the Shapeshift Tribulation. Yeah, this can't be the Attainment Tribulation. Alright, let's just keep going until it goes away. Yeah, that was definitely the Shapeshift one, because now they have the forms. Yeah, I always do that a lot, so let's just get through these remaining Tribulations for attainment reduction. All of these events, whew. But as you can see, the Tribulations are getting rather strong. You can see the power of them too. If you like pause the video. Let's kill the Tribulation. Now their attainment is at 595. So as you can see, my attainment is at 595, so I can't even do 6 Tribulations now. So now I'll do I think this is the 4th Tribulation. It should be, yeah. So it's gonna reduce my attainment by 50. Let's kill the Tribulation with Modmod. So now we're at 555. So now we just barely qualified to do the 5th Tribulation by over 50 points. And then when we do this, we'll be at 505 because it's 10 times how many you've already done. I'm on the 5th Tribulation, so it's gonna reduce their attainment by 50. But again, they get really strong, so maybe you want to think twice about this and just rely on your richness and inspiration. But again, this is for your strongest fighters, so I don't know. Make a decision. Alright, so now they're back down to 505 attainment, and that's with the Heavenly Talisman on. So if I remove the Heavenly Talisman, now we're already back down to 295 attainment, whereas we were at, I believe like 400 and something, even without the, we were at like 400 without the Heavenly Talisman equipped. So yeah, now we're back to a respectable 295 attainment. So let's go and finish off learning these manuals at a way cheaper price. So I mean, it's not super duper cheaper, but it's helping, you know. So now we can like comfortably learn all of these manuals. Hopefully we can fit them all. Nice. Looks like they got everything. Alright, so now we just wait for this guy to learn everything. Got okay. Okay, just let this guy slowly go through. But yeah, this is in general the process of learning things. Like, and then if I had origin forces, then I would use those, but for the most part I don't use origin forces unless it's for a Nimbus disciple. Looks like they already tapped out in terms of attainment cost. So like, as you can see, things are getting super expensive. So could you imagine if I already had to like whatever 100 attainment on top of it, however much I reduced it by. I can't click this manual pavilion for some reason. Let's go over here and click demo 2. Let's see. Which ones did they miss? Oh, they missed a lot. Yeah, this requires like what, 7 million? Yeah, these are all just super expensive because of the metal cultivator, and apparently a lot of good manuals are fire based. Sorry about the siren, so I'm just gonna full out cheat and give them even more. Let's just give them 400 million. Ideally, if you're making a stronger cultivator, you can like have them be able to do infinite tribulation and they can farm inspiration. Like this guy, I farmed 800 million. I farmed 1 billion inspiration on this guy before, but I think this is the older save file. This is 80 million from the tribulation that they did so far. Yeah, they only did 36 tribulation in this save file. But yeah, I had them do like way more. But if they can farm 1 billion tribulation, they get infinite inspiration. So you don't need to use Modmod to get infinite inspiration, but I will be using it for this demonstration, which is 1 hour and 30 minutes in. Alright, so now that they've learned all of the manuals that I have deemed to be great manuals for a disciple to learn in attainment order, they now are sitting at 649 attainment. I can do another tribulation, but at this point, I mean, I learned everything, so there's nothing to get. Stats are great. Let's just max out this, even though it's at a more expensive cost than it should be, because I kind of messed up in the order. Alright, so once that's done, the cultivator is pretty much fully built out. We maxed out their artifact power while reducing their artifact max chi, and we got them chi recovery, we got them heal spells and stuff like that. So let's do like a slight evaluation. Vitality Chant is healing 350,000. They only have 240,000, and then this heals 1 million chi, so it's pretty respectable. And then you can get it even higher as you go along. And then let's see, is there any like really good artifact that I can just have them equip just to like play around with? Okay, yeah, we have some over here. Alright, this is 185 artifact power. I'll just give them all of this guy's artifacts, just so that we can kind of get an idea of where they're at. Because right now they only have 3 slots because I didn't equip the I didn't have them consume the elixirs to add 3 more slots, but that's what you would do. And their artifact power bonus right now is 18,000, which is pretty much the most that they would be at. Then if I go on Beast Farm, it goes up a little bit. It's a bull, so they really just get a protect base one, so it's not that big of a bonus. And then if I use Origin Force, they would get it even higher. But if I go into the manual pavilion and I search up artifact power, because this is when you have to start to look for like the unorthodox manuals, then you can see that this is all unorthodox manuals. And then if we just go to only supreme ones, then we should already have everything. So Don't want this because reduce chi recovery, disincrease mass chi, decrease mass chi, disincrease mass chi, artifact mass chi, by the way. And you don't want your artifact to have high mass chi. So this guy pretty much has the perfect build in terms of orthodox learning. And even though it was expensive, there were a lot of manuals that were given like smaller bonuses. So you could probably get to like 16,000 artifact power if you exclude like most of the manuals on there. So if I just go back to this list and kind of show you guys what that looks like. And then of course you don't need to take all of the Machi manuals, just the ones that I listed out. So like for example, like this is like these priority 4 ones. Let's see. Okay, I didn't make any changes. Oh, I took away Fervent Spirit. So I can just save this actually. Perfect. Expensive orthodox build. Let's do that again. Then uncheck this so that I can use the loaded slot. And now I can sort this by I can sort it by learn and then sort it by value per cost. So then you can kind of see like which ones aren't really worth it. So like right here, you don't really need to get like all these spell power manuals and stuff like that. Damage reduction, you don't necessarily need that just because you have like good damage reduction from spell power, 15% barrier power, not that much. This is 250% artifact power. I think this is good for pre-GC though, so you would take that. But this is only 200 artifact power. Like this is something that you may want to avoid, you know, just stuff like that. And then obviously the manuals are getting like real expensive because the guy has a bad element, so the amount of bonuses that they are getting is just really expensive, mainly because it's a metal cultivator, honestly. As you can see, like there are multiple manuals that cost 27 attainment, so we'll see. But as you can see, this guy has really low chi capacity, really good artifact power, and they only have 3 artifact slots, so you know their artifact power is pretty much maxed out. And then yeah, so let's see. Let me get the elixirs now. Let's see, can I find those? Oh, nice, I have all 3 of them. Let's feed them these 3 elixirs. Phoenix elixir. And then let's see if I can salvage some more artifacts from my cultivators. Oh yeah, this tiger has everything. This SSS tiger. So yeah, this guy, he has like so much artifact power too. And they pretty much have like all of the things that they have, but their artifact mastery is higher and stuff like that. So this would be like the goal. Then we have the sharp sword, spirit sword, and the dark sword, dark armor talisman. So let's try to kind of equalize the two. But SSS is a very strong law. So let's remove the Flood Dragon Horn, Wolf Demon Fang, Sharp Sword Talisman. Then let's give this guy all of the artifacts that this guy has equipped. Okay. So this one is at 41,000%, and then this guy is at 18,000%. And I'm kind of wondering why it's like that. So maybe I'll do a comparison and contrast to see like which manuals this guy has and which one they don't. But they should have all of the same manuals for artifact power. It could just be a law difference. Let's see, dark armor, spiritual traveling. Okay, everything is good right here. So now we're at 293,000 with 22 capacity, which is really good. They're at 24,000 artifact power. And then there's also the tier 2 manuals. So if you go down and over here, then I also have a list of the tier 2 manuals for artifact, or tier 2 manuals for Xiandao cultivators. So right here, this guy's a 7 Slaughtering Sword Disciple. So I just have all the manuals that I recommend and why I recommend them. So I recommend all these manuals because they give good bonuses. And actually, 7 Slaughtering Sword Disciples don't need all 3 elixirs because they do have manuals that give +2 swords. But I was just being lazy, so I can add these tier 2 manuals that I recommend. These give artifact power, so obviously you want that. Fly speed, don't really care about that. This gives artifact max chi, definitely do not want that. And then this right here will give you, I believe, increase their number of artifacts that they can use. So you only use this if you don't have the elixirs. And then this does the same thing. Then you have killing intent, which increases the base artifact power bonus, which is pretty good. Then we have sword control, which increases the artifact chi recovery multiplier, which is like the most important stat for combat as well. So yeah, we have all of these manuals. And this guy is Primordial Spirit, and now we're at 31,000%. So they're slowly converging to what my SSS guy is, but there's obviously some differences, probably based on like the manuals that they have access to, their artifact mastery level, and things like that. But in general, both of these cultivators are like fully optimized in the sense of like they don't have any like manuals that they don't need for combat, and they just have like all of the ones that are good for combat. So this one right here has 29,000% spell bonus, and then this guy has a 35,000% spell bonus, and then he has a 31% artifact power bonus, and then this guy has a 38% artifact power bonus. I'm sure that's just due to the tier 2 manuals. But yeah, that's pretty much how you will build like a perfect cultivator for combat. You would just focus on those stats and then get those specific manuals that I recommend. So now this guy has 293 artifact power, which is nowhere near what the maximum is, but this is like a good start basically. And then you will get friendship manuals and all that other stuff in order to like increase their power and then look into other things. But the main thing was to show you guys how to use the sheet. So yeah, I mean, I hope I did a good job at explaining this, and I hope that you guys can actually use this to plan. I would say, if anything, mostly just use it for calculating the skill level cost, and then you can also use it for just like filtering through and just like kind of decluttering your head and figuring out like which manuals you use. And then obviously if you're newer, maybe you won't have like all of these manuals, so you can like deselect these manuals. And then if you haven't been at Immortal Summit, Aether Cave, or Otherworld Rift, then you can also like deselect and reselect these and just kind of get a better visual of exactly what manuals you need for pre-GC, exactly what manuals you need for when you get Primordial Spirit and you have access to all the manuals, and you'll be able to weigh the pros and cons in terms of how much they cost and all of that, compared to like just being in game and not even knowing like what's good and what's not good and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope this helped, and thank you for watching it, and I hope you learned a lot from seeing this, and I look forward to seeing some of you guys use my tool. And you know, I hope you also enjoyed the save system. I definitely worked really hard on creating a macro for that. And yeah, I hope this really helps out new players get started on making a really strong cultivator like as quickly as possible. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And yeah, now that I'm done working on this tool, I'll be able to kind of show you guys what I have with this tool for my Nimbus Disciple, which is basically the same thing, but I definitely decluttered the Nimbus Disciple and I trimmed it way down to make this one specifically just for the Xiandao planner, just so people just have this for like not having to worry about the yin yang and all that other extra stuff that has to do with Nimbus. But when I continue my Drake speedrun, I will be definitely using the one that's tailored around Nimbus Disciple so that I can like plan out things for that. And that's the main thing that I've been working on for the past month, and why I've been like slow on the upload. So hopefully I'll be able to do that and then pick back up. But yeah, I really hope that this helps you guys, and I hope that this demonstration made a little bit of sense for those of you who couldn't like figure it out intuitively. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later. Going to do a slight interlude because I actually ended the video without mentioning the most important step, which is actually once you reduce the attainment using the tribulation, you can then check that off here, and then so on and so forth, and then this should give you an accurate prediction. I don't know if it was accurate. I don't know if the prediction was accurate from when I did it in the video, just because I think I did learn some extra manuals or extra skill levels. So right now it says my final attainment should be 656, and right now I'm at 701. I don't really care that much because I'm just working with Xiandao, but if I was working with like a Nimbus Disciple, then I would be like paying way more attention and making sure that I'm like keeping note. But Yeah, those are just things that you would just have to like figure out. So I think that I did increase the skill level. Yeah, I can't really figure out what I would need to do to reach that because I increased skill levels after I got it to like 20 to 21 to 23. So I do remember that I did the Attainment Tribulations, and I wonder, did I do 5 or 6? Oh, I only did 5 Tribulations. It says I have 2 left over because I'm now at 700. Huh. Yeah, this guy was at way less than that, but wow. All of those manuals were so expensive. Let me just double check that my sheet has those marked down as costing 27 each. Yeah, I don't know. Try to sort it by cost based on element. Okay, yeah, it has the 27 manual cost and all of that. Yeah, I don't know how this guy just jumped up from. I mean, it's at 701, and I'm off by. Let's see. I'm off by like 50 attainment or 43 attainment. So there was 43 attainment that I didn't account for because I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, I mean, looks good to me. As a new player, I would really just not worry too much about the attainment reduction. You really just gotta worry about getting to the point where you can do the tribulations and then just focus on just knowing exactly which manuals you need to learn or which are good to learn. And I have them all listed out here. And I'm gonna share this sheet with you guys, and it should be in the link below. So yeah, again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.